Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. You're listening to LOTRO Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network. Brought to you by Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter to get your first month free. And by Doghouse Systems. Go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter to get a free 120 gig SSD with your purchase. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of LOTRO Reporter. This is episode 309. I'm Chris and I'm joined once again by the lovely Cari. Hello Cari. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Have you caught them all yet?
I haven't caught them all yet, but I did manage to get Pokemon Go in Canada when it hasn't launched here yet.
Oh, congratulations. How is that working out for you?
I feel like such a rebel. I'm such a rebel getting Pokemon Go when it hasn't launched in Canada.
All right.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it had not yet launched in Canada.
It has not. It is the slowest launching game. And it was cruel because it launched in the States. So all my American friends were playing Pokemon Go. And I saw all the posts on Facebook about Pokemon Go. And I was so jealous. I actually had a friend that you know, Jason in Seattle. He created an American iTunes account for me because when I was trying to do it from Canada, it was asking for proof of payment, like a payment of some sort.
Oh, okay.
And when he did it from the States, it didn't require that. So he did it, sent me all the login info, and I got my Pokemon Go. So I've been going around, and I went out to the store to get something. It's just like a no-time drive at all, and it took me like 40 minutes because I stopped and got all the Pokestops and the Pokemon along the way. And then I got a phone call from my wife from Selenia, and I just hightailed it home at that point.
Yeah. The dog is a little confused as to why we are suddenly stopping and turning around and standing like in places we never stand. And
Anyways, back onto more LOTRO-related news. We got some big news coming out of Turbine, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Huge news. I think this is probably the biggest news that we have had, I think, since the history of the show. I believe this is even bigger news than the free-to-play announcement because it doesn't just talk about a game, it talks about the studio. So I'm teasing a little bit here. We'll get to that. But first, let's talk a little bit about what we have done. I'm not going to let ladies go first because I'm a selfish bastard. And I'm going to go first. As I mentioned, I've been playing Pokemon Go, but mostly I've been skirmishing still on my champion on Landreval to get my skirmish soldier up to snuff so that we can start, because you remember when we get to tier 2 or the second level of the skirmish of skirmishes, when we're on the second round, we're going to the tier 2, right? We're going to the next difficulty level, if you remember that. So I want to make sure that my skirmish soldier is up to snuff for that.
Okay. So
that I've been spending a lot of time skirmishing with that. And then moving along on the epic story on Brandywine, I did some streaming about that. I did about an hour last week of LOTRO streaming on Monday. I'll mostly do my LOTRO streaming on Mondays, and I tend to stream in the mornings here in the summer. But I then had some reviews to do and went on a trip, went to a wedding, and all sorts of stuff. So I haven't had really, and then I had family in the house, and our guest room is my computer room. So I haven't really played anything in like a week. But that's what I was doing beforehand. What about you? What's been keeping you busy?
Well, let's see what has been keeping me busy. Well, I have been doing some epic story on Brandy still. I may or may not have gotten caught in that new holiday in the middle of the year that's like Black Friday called Prime Day.
That is that should be a stat holiday. I don't know. Do they call them stat holidays as well in the U.S. when it's a holiday where you get a day off from work?
No. What are
those
they
called?
don't call them those. They're just bank holidays are actually what they call them, or for
we get
those
one of those a month here in Canada.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they've got it pretty much set. Now, since they added Family Day, it's one pretty much every month.
Oh, no, I get all of the federal holidays, bank holidays, federal holidays. We have a long drought between Memorial Day and 4th of July, and there's a long drought. I get like 2 in November, Christmas, 2 in January, 1 in February, nothing from like March to May.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And then October, it's like 2 in October, 2 in November. Yeah, so all of ours are like shoved into the end, like...
Yeah, the winter months.
Yeah, exactly.
But now there's a new holiday in July.
Called Prime Day.
Yes.
Exactly. I would really love to see what they estimate the loss of productivity on Prime Day was, because it was pretty bad.
How many prime numbers did you recite on Prime Day?
A lot of prime numbers.
As in, like, $29.99 and $59.99.
Yeah, $99 and $99.99. Yep,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. There may or may not have been about 4 orders. Well, not all the things were on sale at once. That's the horrible part.
Yeah.
So anyway, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Amazon had Prime Day for Prime members, which I am. I love Amazon Prime. And so they were having deals and sales, and it was, you have to check and, see what you're missing and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so it was that's what I did, Prime Day.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All right. That's what's been keeping us busy in game. We're moving right along because we've got some interesting news to talk about. But before we get there, we do want to talk about our wonderful patrons because we love our patrons. I want to first of all thank our brand new patron, Barb. Thank you, Barb, our newest patron. You are fantastic. You are a wonderful person, and we really appreciate you becoming a patron. If you want to become one of our best friends, go check out patreon.com/MMO Reporter and help us keep the metaphorical lights on here at the MMO Reporter Network and keep LOTRO Reporter going. All right, let's move things along because we've got some news. All right, as I alluded to earlier in the show, this is probably the biggest news that has hit really LOTRO Reporter. I was going to say since the announcement of free-to-play, but I think this is bigger than that. I think this is since the launch of the show. This is the biggest news. There was some rumblings going around, and it started with a post on Facebook, I believe, is where it started. On Twitter and Facebook.
It was a tweet. Yeah, it was a tweet.
Tweet and a Facebook. Thoughts with Turbine, DDO, and LOTRO peeps today. If I can help, let me know. Which led to some digging, and it does look like there has been some major changes to the Turbine Development Studio. There has been one official announcement about this, and everything else has been sticking to this one. No new news has come from other than this announcement. This is it. This is all we know, and everything else is every other post that we've seen related to this has been basically restating what's here with more words. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah. So here's the announcement, and I will read it word for word because I want the weight of this to sink into everyone because this is such a big deal. Turbine is transitioning into a free-to-play mobile development studio, and as a result, we are eliminating some positions. The Lord of the Rings Online and Dungeons & Dragons Online games will continue to operate as they do now. Refocusing and reducing the studio size was a difficult decision for the company, and we are grateful to all of the Turbine staff for their considerable contributions.
Yeah.
So that's the announcement. The big part there is that Turbine is now a free-to-play mobile development house.
Yeah, we kind of saw this direction coming because they have been advertising for mobile developers for a couple of years now.
Right.
But that they had, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is a pretty big thing. We've seen some other comments about this on the LOTRO forums. Cordovan, who was interim community manager between Rick and Freelorn, is now community manager once again for LOTRO and DDO for a while. Not to me, that seems like more than I think the title's interim, but it feels like it's going to be one community manager for both communities.
I agree with that. Yes.
So, what worries me also is, and I'm going to read another comment here. What worries me as well is his reply back on a forum thread, and we'll have a link in the show notes discussing this. And I'm going to read it here again, word for word, because I don't want to interpret any of this. I want this to be word for word. So this is his post on the show, on the forums. We appreciate everyone's concern for the team's well-being and know that folks have seen and read your thoughts. We aren't able to comment specifically on personnel matters, especially when they come from business decision-making like this, but we would reiterate the part from yesterday's official statement that Lord of the Rings Online will continue to operate as it does now. Additionally, we'd like you to know that our development plans remain unchanged. You'll notice that I'm posting, and then it just talks about Cordovan's role there. I worry a little bit about the wording of that official announcement, which says that they will continue to operate as they do now, which operate is not the same as grow.
Yeah. Oh,
operate
yeah.
is okay. We're at station keeping now. Right?
Yeah. Well, he said later in the same post, it says, I know folks are curious about that kind of thing, but we don't provide visibility into team size and such. All we can really say is that our development plans remain unchanged. The goals are there, even if the path to get there has shifted.
Yeah. It's...
But I will tell you what, I am super happy to see that Maid of Lions chimed in to say he was still around, because when Maid of Lions goes, I think we can plan the funeral. Because he's the one that writes the epic stories. Mm-hmm. So I was like, please tell me he's there, because if he's gone, then, yeah.
Here's the thing. I do not, I really, in my heart of hearts, I do not believe this is time. All right, everybody, unplug your Ethernet cables. We're done here. Bob's done.
I don't.
Bob's out. I don't think it's that point.
You're right.
And I do think that we can expect to see more content, and I can expect to see the story continue on. Even if there is not a regular, large development team on LOTRO, the thing about Turbine, no matter what people are working on, is implementation of code is one thing, but code is code in the end. And I know that in other development houses, when one game is nearing a ship date for an expansion or a content push, members from other teams will move to that team that's in crunch mode and will help out where they can with that. So if they're using at least a unified, some sort of a programming language, or development, a lot of development is spreadsheets, right, or databases. Right, if they're using some sort of common language between all those ones, you could shift people between teams. Okay, so we've got now the Black Gate content is coming up for LOTRO, let's say. We need a few more artists. Okay, they're going to come over here, they're going to work with this. Or we need a few more people to enter quest information into the databases. They're going to go over from this mobile game who's still far out from launch. They're going to go and work on this now. I hope that they're setting themselves up for that, because if they can do that, that's going to give them a lot more flexibility to still. If LOTRO wasn't profitable, it would not be continuing on. But we do have to worry about the point where the server hardware is more useful to Turbine in other ways. I was just reading on a discussion on Reddit the other day, so take this with a huge boulder of salt as I talk about this, but it was linking to a story where someone was talking about their time with City of Heroes. And what ended up happening was that the servers for City of Heroes, so City of Heroes was profitable, but the servers were repurposed for the Guild Wars 2 launch, and that was a more profitable way to use that hardware.
Interesting.
And that was long-term more profitable than keeping the game going.
Keeping City of Heroes up.
You know, not to scare everybody here, but yeah, that's. I mean, I do think we're going to see our story through. I think I would be concerned about the license renewal in 2017. If I was, I forget what the name of Tolkien's estate is. Or not Tolkien's estate.
Solzance is the one that owns the rights.
They own the rights. They're not the estate.
Correct.
So I would be hesitant if I was them to put a lot of effort into renewing a license for a company that's not even focused on this type of development anymore, when you know there's a million other companies that would throw a lot of money their way to do Lord of the Rings 2 or a new take on like Middle-earth Online. Hey, look at that name. That could come back.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I've talked a lot. What do you think? How are you feeling about this particular juncture? Because I think this is a big juncture. This is maybe not as big of a juncture for LOTRO itself as the free-to-play announcement, but I think it's a big juncture for the studio.
Correct. I agree. I actually am a little concerned with the studio itself because, you know, there are a few free-to-play games out there that are just amazing, you know, cash cows, money, you know, bringing in money and money and money. But then there are several out there that I have read stories on where people have lost their shirts. And I hate to see that happen with Turbine. Like I had said earlier, you know, seeing that one of the main story writers is still there and I'm not sure who all's there and who all's not. But I did notice that he had posted in a forum on the 11th, which means, and the announcement came out on the 9th, I think.
Yeah.
7th, excuse me, the 7th. So yeah, that gives me hope that I personally think that we will be hitting the Black Gate sometime early 2017, and I don't know that we'll be seeing much of after the ring hits the Mount Doom there. I don't think we'll see much of the Shire scouring and all of that afterwards. I think they're probably going to coincide it with the end of the current license. I'm not going to speculate whether they're going to get another license or not, but I think they're shooting to finish up the story to coincide with the end of the current license.
I agree. I was actually a little surprised how quickly we got to Minas Tirith, the off-white city. That felt like, we're going along. We're kind of, as LOTRO has always done, kind of plodding through stuff. Oh, look, boom, boom, boom. We're here.
And that's kind of, you know, as soon as they hit Dol Amroth, city. I remember them saying, because that was one of the last, hey, let's talk to the devs, press talk to the devs kind of thing.
Yeah.
When we were, and they're like, this is as far as a game has ever made it. And they were so excited that they had made it into actual Gondor, which no other Lord of the Rings video game had ever made it that far. Yeah. And I think their goal is, they probably got a big sign that says we're going to make it to, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we'd love to hear what all of our listeners think, what their thoughts on their future with the game is now. I did put it out on Twitter a little bit. I got a reply from WOTV_LOTRO that said Turbine face the same pressures all organizations do. They have to trim. Community engagement is a bonus, and this won't affect dev work. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it won't affect dev work, but I hope.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I am guessing that community wasn't the only people that got cut.
No. This wasn't like, okay, everybody, we're going to make cuts. Freelorn, you're gone. All right, everybody, we're done. Thanks.
Yep,
Back
have
to
a
your
good day.
cubicles. No.
Yeah, no.
No, but what this is the guy I met at PAX East 3 years ago or whatever it was, in line for something that was just happened to be a LOTRO developer, not a developer but a programmer,
Yeah.
right? A coder,
Yeah.
right? Was working on database end of things and spreadsheets and stuff like that. That was his job. It's jobs like that are going to be gone. Probably a few devs as well, but. I don't think it's going to be a lot of forward-facing people.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Well, there's weren't a lot of forward-facing people left.
No.
Now, Cordovan is a very engaged community manager.
Yeah.
He, listening to some Dungeons and Dragons online podcasts, he's happy to come on and talk to people. So this is not a bad thing to have him as the community manager in the interim.
Well, that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. I'm channeling my inner Martha Stewart. So
it's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think this is kind of a big deal.
It is. I do agree. It is. And speaking of their new focus, they launched a new mobile game today.
And you know what? I actually got it ready here so that I could show it to our audience. I've got my iPad hooked up here to the stream so people can see what it looks like a little bit. For those of you who are listening to the podcast, this is a free-to-play base building game. I guess a variant of something like the old Dungeon Keeper. You basically build up, and it's not exactly that. Don't picture exactly that. But you're getting your villains, and you're building up your villains and your henchmen and stuff like that, and then you try to take over Arkham. So that's basically what that game is like. I haven't played it at all. I'm talking in very huge generalities. I will talk about it when I've had a chance to play it a little bit more. Okay. For those of you who are interested in that. Interesting that this comes out just a couple weeks after their big announcement of
right, and it's just out of left field. Hey, look what we did.
Yeah, and this is not. How can I put this? This is. They didn't want to make the announcement about staffing. It leaked.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Right? So they, and then they came up with a boilerplate answer, and it's what they're sticking to. They're not talking about anything else. And history has shown good PR is you make your statement,
and then you shut up.
Reiterate your statement in other words in your community base, in your player base, and then that's it. You don't talk about anything but that.
Yep.
And then after you talk about it less and less and less and less, and that's how these things work. And that's
correct.
Yeah. So I'm sad. I'm sad for the people that were let go. I'm sad for the change in the direction for Turbine. I think that they were a fine MMO house. I'm sad. I have a feeling in my gut that the death of the DC MOBA, I forget what it's called even now, probably had a lot to do with this, about their change in direction. And good luck in the future. To those of you who are still with Turbine, hey, I wish you all the best. To Turbine as a whole, I think you are I think the company is a fantastic company. Is it's an old man in the gaming industry now.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. Yeah.
So good luck to everyone who's there, all the way from the top to the bottom. Thank you to all of you, and can't wait to see more LOTRO content.
Agreed. Speaking of LOTRO content, 18.2 came out after we recorded. Trying to find the date.
Right after we recorded.
Yeah. Like the 28th of June.
Yeah.
So the new raid is out, Throne of the Dread Terror. And there are new legendary items. Some changes have been made, some balance stuff. VIPs, for those of us who are like me, not you, they can now access 20 more wardrobe slots than non-VIPs. That's important.
For those of you who are obsessed with your wardrobe.
That's very, yes. Like, for me, not you. That's very important.
There you go.
So, cosmetic pets can no longer put up with the stresses of player versus monster player areas, so you may no longer take your sheep to the PvMP area.
Aww.
I know, that's so sad.
You know what? Those wargs really like lamb.
Hey, I know, the poor little sheeps.
I know.
And then more housing hooks have been added, of course. I think from what I was reading on the forums, you're going to have to go in and rearrange your house because I think it goes wonky with the new hooks.
Ain't that fantastic?
Yeah, you're never going to do it, so I'm not going to worry about it.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not going to do it. And already 18.2.1 has come out. It came out yesterday. So there's some problems with the Stable Masters collection. The UI is messed up. They know it, and they're working on fixing it.
Yeah.
So they've got some new quests available in After the Battle of Minas Tirith. And then some to fix some instances. And then you must now have enough free backpack space for all items that can be redeemed from a single package before you can open the package. That's a boo hiss. No, that's a boo hiss, because sometimes I open, I get rid of, I open, I get rid of, I open, I get rid of.
No, I love the fact that you can see how many, I hate having to do that. I like that, you can't open that because you don't have enough space. Oh, okay. But does it tell you how much space you need?
Right, no, it does not. It just says you can't open. It just says you can't open it if you don't have enough. Whereas before, if it was 6 items, you had 3 slots. It would give you three items of the 6 and leave the thing there. I didn't like. Okay.
Okay, I agree with you now. That's fantastic. And Jared Lego in Twitch chat is talking about the Stable Master UI, which we already talked about.
Yes.
And the collections
no
panel now opens to your last visited tab. That's good for those of you who are working on your collections.
Mm-hmm. I know somebody who's she has a deed grind character. That character is getting all the deeds.
Oh, really?
She is hit 40. She wanted to know if she should go to Angmar, Forkel, or a couple other Misties. I think the overwhelming vote that last I saw was Forkel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's better. They fixed some of the stable routes. It's better. It's still for hell. Yeah.
Okay, and the other thing we want to talk about too is of course, the wonderful ballad of Bingo Boffin. We have made it through the whole year.
Yep.
And we have a week of a year of weekly episodic content, which I think is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Now, do you think they got all these written out a year ago and just released them, or do you think they've been working on it as they've been going through?
I get the impression from the forum posts because Made of Lions wrote them. I get the impression that he had it mostly written a year ago. Yeah. And that they've been putting it in, a little bit ahead of time. But the arc itself was written a year ago or so.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and you've got some news about some issues.
Yeah,
that
they closed today. There was a tweet. They have closed the Ruined City. Osgiliath, the Ruined City, due to bug preventing instance completion. So it will be fixed in an upcoming hot fix, which I have not yet seen a date for.
That sucks.
Yeah.
All right, and last but not least in any way whatsoever, there may or may not have, there may have been some spam issues.
There may have been some spam issues for a while.
Some people really find it tasty, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, no. There's a nice post from Cordovan on the forums talking about it, and basically comes down to, we do apologize for the inconvenience, but we think seeing a handful of support threads in general is better than a dozen pages of spam per day. We're working on it. So, do you want to talk about the fix that they did? Yeah,
so they basically have locked down some of the new player questions, basically some of the areas that... So the forums, when you create an account, to stop some of the spam was set up to where for a certain period of time you were only able to post in certain areas of the website. Well, that's what the spammers are hitting, of course, because they made new accounts.
Yeah.
So they've realized what exactly the problem was, which was a vBulletin user group. So so some people who normally post will not be able to post because they kind of got swept up in that, but that hopefully will reduce the amount of spam that they are doing.
Right, and they're basically hoping that the inconvenience is better than the inconvenience of the people. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not speaking very well today.
I know. Well, yeah. What, English is like your third language, isn't it?
Second.
Okay.
Second. Okay, let's move on. Skirmishes. We had a special guest.
We did. And Mama Set came with us.
Yay.
It was fun. It was fun as soon as the patching got done.
I patched. And Mevoset patched. Who was it? I forget now. Cari, do you know?
That would be me who didn't patch in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I should check and see if there was a patch, and I didn't check and see if there was a patch, and guess what? There was a patch.
Hey,
so we started about an hour and a half late. Well, it didn't help that I have the high-res files that download on my computer.
Yeah.
But we did Icy Crevasse and Storm of Methadress. Methadress. I want to say methadone, but that's not right. Storm of Methadress.
No, we didn't do Icy Crevasse. We did, that was the week before you're thinking of. We did
Truckborough, Trouble in Truckborough.
And Defense of the Prancing Pony.
No, we did. We
did Defense of the Prancing
Pony and. Okay, I pulled the wrong files.
You did. So we did Defense of the Prancing Pony, and what was the other one? It was another defensive one. What was the other one?
Let me look. Give me a minute. I've got it. I did have it. I pulled the wrong file. I know.
That's okay.
I slept since
Icy Crevasse was when we did it, the two of us, and you got stuck on the outside of it, and then
then we reset. That was the one with the elephant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was it was the baby elephant. So it was Thief.
Oh, it was the fjord.
Yeah.
Right? Fort of Brunnen.
Defense of the Prancing Pony and Fort of Brunnen. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Defense of the Prancing. Yeah, because he had the new elephant pet. That is so cute.
Which you now have the new elephant pet, don't you?
I didn't buy it. No, not yet.
You didn't? Oh, wow.
Not.
Yep, and I believe the winner, I was outnumbered on this one. You two voted for which one again? You wrote it down, right?
Prancing Pony.
Right, and I voted for Fort of Brunnen because I find it just a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit more challenging, and that could have been the amount of times that I've done Defense of the Prancing Pony, but there's just a little bit more excitement to Fort of Brunnen than there is to Prancing Pony. But the both of you voted against me.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
My problem with the Fort of Brunnen is that every time I go in there, I don't know if it's the openness or the flash of the lightning or whatever, I lag so badly that it is like painful to do. Yeah. And I find it frustrating. And you're like running from one end to the other end, and then the stupid elves, they have to stand in the poop, and it's just, I find it frustrating. That's the reason I
like the horse mechanic of having to get the final boss to stand in the horse
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
How many times, though, did it take us? 6?
You know.
Yeah, and I had to go to Healy Spec. It also didn't help that I had lost my weapon, went away, and
but you didn't lose anything. You just forgot something very important, which would be respecking after a patch.
Yeah, we guys were in a hurry. Yeah. I managed to keep everybody from dying. I don't think
you did, even with your limited heal spells that you had.
Yep, I did it. It was.
Yep, you did well.
All right. Yeah. So.
All right. So Defense of the Prancing Pony moves on to the next round of Skirmish of Skirmishes. Let's move on to our sponsors real quick. If you're looking for a new PC, then check out doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMOReporter to get a free 120 gig SSD in addition to the 1 terabyte drive that you get with your system. They are the best boutique PC maker that you will find out there. Go check them out, even if you're just looking at doghousesystems.com. And of course, go to audibletrial.com/MMOreporter if you are interested in getting some free audiobooks. If you go to that URL, audibletrial.com/MMOreporter, you'll get a free month of the Audible subscription, which will get you one free audiobook, which you get to keep forever. Use the credit, cancel, whatever, doesn't matter, as long as you've used the credit before you cancel. You can keep that book forever. So go and check them out. All right, we have a Did You Know this week. Steve on Facebook posted, "Hey there, I am a lifetime account holder since 2007. I have not played the game in a very long time. I think 65 was the level cap when I last played. I'm currently returned and have boosted a captain to 50 and have a level 40 warden I'm trying to figure out. Any tips for the 40 to 50 leveling? I am so lost, but really like the new skill trees and combat seems a little faster. Love the show. It was nice to see it still going on. I always listened to this one and casual stroll to Mordor." Yes.
Oh, they're out poke hunting, the entire family, by the way. All of them.
So I asked Twitter before we get to our answers for this, and this was the answers from Carve at CarvetteLP. Angmar for pages and level 40 and 41. Misty Mountains for pages and level 42 to 45. Eregion 46 to Moria. Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin on on Twitter as well said, "Don't forget Sarnur for that Thorns Hall rep for the goat." Yes. Nice.
Yeah, that was where you ran in last week and you didn't realize you had gone the wrong direction.
Yeah. At Eternal Badger, Everbrook said, "Festivals and XP boosts. XP boosts are great for 40 to 50.
And it happens to be going on right now.
And Ruby Sue, at Ruby Sue _Boggs, for 39 to 41, collecting book pages in Misty Mountains and Angmar. Following the epic and a few sides will take you to Moria." Cari, what's your level 40 to 50 sort of tradition? How do you go through that?
I get out of Angmar as fast as possible because I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate Angmar. Misty's is much better than it used to be since they moved some stuff around and spread some stuff out and added some extra horses and things like that.
Yeah.
I like Eregion a lot. I think it's one of the prettiest zones out there. I know it's like flat and rolling, but the trees are gorgeous and it's nice and easy to get to things. I mean, it's far apart, but it's not like the Misties where if you miss a turn, you've got to go all the way back around because there's a mountain in your face.
Yeah.
You just kind of keep heading in that general direction and you can get there. And the story's pretty fun because you get to actually see places that the Fellowship was, as opposed to Angmar, which has nothing to do with the Fellowship.
Right.
And I don't think the Misties has nothing. I mean, it's got the Goblin Town and some stuff from The Hobbit, but that's about it. I don't believe there's anything that had to do with the Fellowship there either.
Am I remembering this wrong in that I remember Misty, and I haven't leveled, I'll talk about it in a second, my leveling, but I haven't leveled anything in a while. Isn't Misty Mountains before Angry-Mar?
Angry-Mar is at 50.
Right.
Because
somebody said Angry-Mar for 40-41.
You can get to the little edges.
For pages and stuff.
The pages and stuff. You go out of you go out of the Lone Lands and you can either go up to Misty's or you can, and I think you have to go to Angry-Mar for.
But doesn't the epic story Pre-Moria end in Angry-Mar?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm remembering that right. Okay, so what do you do?
and the Wall of Death and the horrible woman who shall not be named. Yes.
Yes. So,
that is, and I don't like it because that is one of the few places in LOTRO that almost made me cry in frustration because I couldn't figure out how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're on level and everything's and you're mini and you're trying to kill things and it's hard and you cannot figure out how to get to. You can see where you need to be, and you can't figure it out. And it's just frustrating.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do to relieve? You just go through it as quick as you can?
Yeah. I haven't done that epic storyline since. Oh, the path to get to that particular castle is etched in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then when I did the one where the epic story where you were at Carndoon and then they'd run you black and then they'd run you over. I was doing that after they started making like maps to back and forth part of the quest rewards.
Oh.
So that's and mithril coins will save you so much trouble.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. Okay, for me, it's really, really simple. I hate Angry Mar. Angry Mar is stupid. Angry Mar is dumb. I hate it. I think that the developers did such a great job of designing a place of pure evil that I hate it with my entire soul. And so I don't go in Angry Mar. And I skirmish, and I skirmish, and I skirmish, and I skirmish.
Yeah, because you don't like anything from 40 to 50, do you?
Oh, my,
because
it's
you
all
don't like
dumb.
4
And I don't like 50 to 60. I don't like Moria. So I skip that too. So I skirmish and skirmish and skirmish. And then once we get to post Moria stuff and we get to Rivendell, then I can handle stuff again and I start questing again. But all that other, Forahel and Angry Mar and Moria, no. Misty Mountains I like. I really like Misty Mountains. But yeah, all those, yeah. Angry Mar is dumb. Angry Mar kills hobbits.
Yeah, Angry Mar is pretty...
Old, defenseless hobbits.
Yes, who just wanted people off their lawn. I know.
It's just horrible. So that's my only. I'm sorry. I know this is like a horrible thing. I think the Misty Mountains to Angry Mar, and then you can do some of the Eregion stuff. Before you hit Moria. And if you like Moria, great. That's
and you can almost get into Moria at 45 now. You don't have to go all the way to 50.
Yeah, I was going to say 48, but you can go a little earlier for sure. Especially if you know what you're doing and you're like a warden or a champion, a captain, or a mini is a little squishy, but so the heavy armor wearing self-heal classes. And I know that Warden wears medium, but they're OP anyway. So,
they can get in. They can get in there earlier.
6 years in past Wardens, and we're calling them OP still. Anyways, they are. That's why I play Warden. So unless you're one of those classes, I think it'd be hard to get in much before like that 46, 47. Have you gone in with like a mini or anything like that at 45?
I think Laenor drugged me in at 45.
Well, but you were with Laenor then, right? So that just means you died all the time.
Yeah, but I know. I mean, I've basically played minis to 2 minis to level cap, so I got a pretty good idea of what I can and cannot deal with. And how to pull one at a time.
Yeah.
But if so, my suggestion would be to do the epic story until you get to the point that it gets hard. Do some skirmishes,
right,
and then do the epic. The epic story is fantastic, but the
I don't even like the Angry Mar epic story.
They just have because stupid. Everybody. But you need to know why you have a grudge against that person. You know, and I was like, I know I will. I remember I had no idea what was coming, but I remember thinking this is going to be bad. This is not a good. And my husband was like, "Why are you yelling at the computer?"
That's what my neighbors were saying when I was yelling at the wardens.
Yeah. It's like, why?
All of a sudden, there's cops knocking on my door. Why are you yelling at you? Some rangers.
Oh my gosh! I saw complete another tangent. I saw a sign on Facebook one day, and it was like the 20 best neighbor signs, and it was one of those. It was a sign that says, "Now, it's like there will be loud noises coming from my apartment for the next 2 weeks. Please don't call the cops. I just got the latest edition of Call of Duty."
That's funny. All right, so would love to know your leveling tips for 40 to 50 for all of you who are interested in helping out Steve from Facebook. Would love to be able to send some more tips his way.
No, that's not the Steve, right? That's a different Steve?
That's a different Steve, yes.
Oh, good.
I tried my hardest not to be biased because of his name, because Steve's a jerk. But I think I did well.
Yeah, okay. You did well.
Cari, kitty time.
Yeah, it's a Harnkegger time.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, so time for loads of sporting events, massive hordes of prizes, and implausible amounts of fun. Will the dwarves be able to keep their Harnkegger Nation's title this year, or the men and hobbits take revenge for last year? So basically what this is it's a fantastically awesome festival on Laurelin that they do every year. What they're asking for right now is the Harnkegger Games are going to be held from September 5th till September 11th. But what they want people to do is they want people to go to harnkeggergames.simplesite.com and vote for the 23 possible events. So people get to do events that they want to do.
Cool.
I have been over there 1 year for part of the Harnkegger Games.
Yeah.
It was pretty epic.
Awesome. So if you're interested, we've got a link in the show notes. Go check it out. Great link that you found, Cari. 10 wild fan theories about Lord of the Rings. I have seen a few of these before. Let's each pick one and mention it, and then people can go read for the rest. What was your favorite?
I think I like the one that says Tom Bombadil was the Witch King.
Mine.
All right, fine. You talk about that one. I'll pick a different one.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
And it starts with the usual Tom Bombadil and the Witch King. I think have never been seen together. It's like, well, yeah, duh. But then it goes on about how he put the ring on, and he could still see Frodo when Frodo had the ring on, just like the Witch King could. But no. But it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like that one, and there's quite a lot of explanation there. So if you were interested in that, you probably want to go and check that out. The other one that I was going to say, where is it here, is this one here that pulls in a little bit of Harry Potter. Did you know that Dumbledore and Grindelwald are the Blue Astari?
I did not know that. Those are the ones that went off to the east and not heard of again.
Well, no, they were wandering around Middle-earth at the same time. They went off to the east near the end, right? But they weren't. They were around at the start, right? When he was talking.
Yeah, but when he asked what happened, when Gandalf is asked what happened, he's like, "Well, Radagast was around here somewhere, and the other two disappeared. I don't know what happened to them."
Yeah.
Apparently, they went to Hogwarts.
So there are 8 other wild fan theories. Go check them out there. And I think the most important link, which we left as always to the end because it is the most fantastic part of the summer. That's right, Weatherstock. Weatherstock is coming July 23rd. You are not cool enough to go apparently this year, which I totally understand.
I had booked something on top of that, July 23rd, and it's going to be a little sad too. I had posted on our Facebook page one of the people who was in charge of the refreshments and had been in charge for many years finally lost his battle with cancer earlier this month. So, and unfortunately I missed the tribute that they had in game on Sunday. But so Tinky will not be there, but I bet the yellow dressed ones shall still be there.
Go check out our Facebook page if you'd like to find out a little bit more information about that and a little bit more about him.
Yeah, he was cool.
All right. If you have any in-game events that you would like us to mention, please let us know. And we'd love to get questions on our Facebook page, through Twitter, emails, anything like that. We love to hear from you. So, Cari, if people do want to get a hold of us, how can they do that?
They can email us at lotro.reporter@gmail.com. They can follow us on Twitter at LOTRO and tweet at us, like many people did. They can check us out on Facebook. Just search for LOTRO Reporter, like Steve did. You can leave us a voicemail at 616-666-6778. Be sure to check us out on youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network. Are you going to be videoing any of the stuff you've been streaming this summer?
I have been throwing a little bit over onto YouTube,
So check that out. He's been doing some games like new Riders of Icarus and some other stuff. Be sure to check out our website at LOTROreporter.com, and be sure to follow us at twitch.tv/MMOreporter, and you will know when we go live for any of the stuff we do. I do not accept carrier pigeons. I don't know if Chris does.
I can, yeah. Send me some carrier pigeons.
Okay. So if you're sending carrier pigeons, direct those to Chris, not to Cari.
Yep. Hope they don't freeze.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheCariMac. It's TheCariMac. And how can they find you, Chris?
At ALMAZAR. All right, Cari, what a fantastic show. Thanks for coming out once again tonight.
Yeah,
fun.
a couple days late, but we managed to pull it off this week. I think it was important enough that we do it this week, especially with the lead-off news that we had.
And thanks to everyone for coming out. We had quite a few people in the chat room, so thanks for coming out and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. We really like hanging out with you, talking about some LOTRO stuff. Thanks for watching on Twitch, watching on YouTube, however you consume the show, and of course all of our audio listeners. We hope that you come back for the next show, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.